Hello and welcome back to Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. The work is coming thick and fast in terms of the research we're doing. We are going to listen to Professor Howard Nicolas. He's a professor in international economics or politics or something. Anyway, something of the other. He's from Netherlands. I want you to listen to what he's going to say. Then I will show you how that impacts our economy literally in Nigeria right now. I will show you. Let's listen to him. Here we go. It's only about 4 minutes. Let's listen.
So what this presentation is fundamentally designed to say is this: Africa historically, sub-Saharan Africa, has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries.
Are you listening?
Okay? And Africa had a role to play.
Are you listening? Our role. Listen, what is that role?
We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that.
You see?
Okay.
They will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that role. What is the role that Europe wants us to play? Africans, pay close attention to this. What is that role? Let's listen.
We do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished.
We keep Africa where it is, and also impoverished. So it's not Citizen AY saying it. The man is saying what their plan is in Europe from an European. Listen, let's listen on.
It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So
it is absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So we Africans, we are now the ones that they are exploiting and impoverishing from our own resources. This is about our own resources. You will see the perfect example of that shortly in the explanation I will be making shortly about that.
Let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures,
you see,
all the global institutions,
listen,
and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is.
Listen.
And whether it is Europe or US or now China,
listen,
it's always the same.
This is why I'm saying we need to depend only on Africans. Africans must trade first and foremost with Africans, because that information there, whether it's Western Europe, whether it's Europe, whether it's US, now China, it's the same. Listen on. Very important point. We need to be cognizant of that right now, every single African.
We need Africa to be impoverished. Because
they need Africa to be impoverished. That includes Nigeria, by the way. They need Africa to be impoverished.
We need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap.
We need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. And I will give you a perfect example of why this is such a thing that we can. It is impacting Nigeria right now. Right now. This information I'm giving you is impacting Nigeria right now. Now let's listen on.
Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say.
So we're not going to, that there's nothing talking about we can do about it. I'm not interested in that. We're not interested in their solution. I am preferring what we need to do about it. And that is our unity first and foremost. Now we talked about that they want the prices. You heard him say dirt cheap. Let us hear that section one more time.
Everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is.
Listen.
And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap.
We need Africa to be impoverished and we need those materials dirt cheap. Now let us go and explain exactly what that is. Now, Nigeria in 2021, Nigeria, they exported $667 million worth of crude oil. Crude oil. Now, please pay close attention to my following comments. Now, because of our failure to ensure that our own refineries are working, Listen. It says so here, $677 million refined petroleum. We exported unprocessed. Now we imported refined petroleum to the tune of $11.3 billion. Are you getting it? Now, do you see when they say that they need African resources dirt cheap? That is what they mean. They have more than made 10, 15 times more of the amount of money that they paid for the resources, for our resources. And this is why I am insistent on Operation Fix the Refineries. Let me show you again. Those of you who are watching me, who are following, would know that I've done this over and over. But I'm trying to use this to buttress and really make this point, overemphasize it, so that we understand that we are in a desperate place. The only way we can free ourselves as Africans is to begin to trade among Africans, first and foremost, and only trade in our own currencies. Not the CFA, not the US dollars, in our own currencies right now. Not tomorrow, now. Okay, let us get this out. Operation Fix the Refineries. We're spending more money, borrowing money to import processed oil, when we would spend far less to fix our refineries and be processing the oil that we will export to other places in Africa and around the world. We are not in a market force. When they talk about market forces, if you're going to talk about market forces, you need to have your own manufacturing base to compete in that market. We have been taken out of the market by not allowing our the oil refineries to be functioning at the hands of Mele Kyari and others, and the current government as well, and the previous ones. Now, let me show you what I mean, because I've been really I'm keen for you to understand exactly how this works. We need to really understand it. I've been talking about this. I'm going to just put this here. That's his face there, but I want you to see. Let me make it. Can I make it smaller here? So can I? 1 second. I just need you to understand it really. Now, okay, you can't see it just yet because it's too. Let me make it. Can I make it smaller? Okay, won't let me go. Okay, we've had the message from him. What I'm trying to make you to really understand now is this. To fix these refineries, the 4 refineries, it would literally cost 6.8 billion naira. Now, because of what is said about the mineral resources of Nigeria, of Africa, must be at, they want it at dirt cheap prices, because they want us to continue to pay more for our own resources, the finished product of that. So they are preventing us with collusion with others with fellow Africans, some brain dead Africans who are colluding in ensuring that our own refineries do not work. The effect of not having refineries is that we are spending more money than we are making on petroleum, on importing processed oil, which is exactly what he was talking about. Let me listen. I want you to listen to those words again. Maybe that will make sense. Let's go back again and listen to what he said there. Listen. Go back again. Listen to this.
Everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely.
By the way, in case newsflash, those of you who are in Nigeria, you may not be thinking that you're sub-Saharan, but you are sub-Saharan Africa. The whole of West Africa downwards is. We are sub-Saharan Africa. So listen again. Listen and understand. Listen.
We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished.
Impoverished.
It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that.
So it is vital to the prosperity of everybody else except Africa to keep Africa impoverished. And how do they do that? to ensure that we never have functioning refineries to be able to compete. So when Mele Kyari talks about market forces, he is not telling you the truth. He is lying to you. And we are here to expose that. So when they signed the bill recently for 2.1 trillion, signed a document with Afreximbank. The bank, by the way, is an Islamic bank. That means that we are stuck between either being exploited by Arabs or being exploited by Europeans, and now increasingly the Chinese. That is why Africa must stand on its own. The African Development Bank, the shares in it is owned largely by Western countries. The Afreximbank is owned by Arab countries. We need to stand on our own. We must stand on our own. The exploitation is sickening. We only received for exporting our oil $667 million. But for importing the processed product, we are paying, let's do a quick sum. Let's look at what percentage this 67 million represents of 67 million naira and million dollars. You know, in comparison to 11 billion dollars. It's not even up to we're not even making up to 1 billion. So you can see it is over 10 times. We are paying over 10 times the amount that we got in return. Over that. For product that they got from us and we are importing it in. This is economic madness. That is what the game plan is. They want our resources at dirt cheap prices, and they will hike the price of the finished product. But we can also compete, but they don't want us to be able to compete. And some who are in our system, Mele Kyari and NNPC, are working with the colonials to oppress and suppress us in our own land. The currency is something that we must no longer allow. We need to make sure that we link our currency to our own reserves, to our mineral reserves, i.e. gold. This is what I'm hoping to explain to you. This is a huge disparity, a barefaced daylight robbery that is being perfected on us with the support of some of people who are in government right now. Those refineries need to be fixed so that we do not have to pay 11.3 billion to import oil. Let me show you one more thing before I go about the refineries, and this is why we need to fix those refineries. No ifs, no buts. Let me show you. I want to show you this. Where is it? Let me just check. I'm not too sure. It may not be correct, but I'm just going to try and let me just see that. No, not that one. Not that one. 1 second. I'll find it. I'm just trying to find something for you here. Here we go. That's it. Now, I want you to read what is on the screen here. I'll make it quick. So I'm going to read it with you. We're going to read it together. Let's read it together. So you can see on the screen, it says here on the screen, the NNPC awarded a maintenance service contract for a quick fix repairs of the Warri refinery to Daewoo E&C Nigeria Limited on June 24, 2022 at $492,000. Total cost of rehabilitating the nation's refineries from 2010 to date may be put at 600 billion 840 million 736 and 313 naira and 40 kobo. Can you see that? That's how much it will cost to fix all the 4 refineries. So why are they not fixing it? That's because of what he mentioned. Again, I want to play that again for you to really understand. We will never allow. And that is why they are insistent on the likes of France and US always controlling our economy. They're using the monetary system to control African economy. The CFA and the US dollars. We must pull away from those two right now. as Africans. We must pull away from those systems right now. Not tomorrow, not the day after, but right now. Anybody watching this video, please share. Let's listen again. Listen.
Do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is.
Can you see that? Now you can understand why the CFA. This is part of a strategy. The CFA, the French, the US is silent. The United Nations is silent on the oppression of Africans carried out on a daily basis by French on 14 African countries. Because why? It's all part of the strategy. It is all part of their strategy to keep Africans locked into financial systems that is designed to impoverish Africans. On the French side, on the US side, the same thing. It's a different system. They're not using quite the same mechanism, but it's the same effect. Designed to impoverish Africans. They don't see you as a Nigerian. You are just a resource collection point. They don't see you as a Ghanaian. You are just a resource collection point. They see Africa as a place to exploit using their mechanisms, their financial mechanisms. We need to pull away from those mechanisms and design ours. And they have to trade on our terms. Now, so to recap the point that he talked about there, they want to get our oil price, our resources at dirt cheap prices. We are selling petroleum, crude oil, $667 million, and we are spending more than $10 billion over the amount we received to import processed oil. Yet, some in our system are not willing to fix the refinery. The refinery will be fixed. Sorry about this. The refinery will be fixed with just $6.8 billion. 6.8 billion naira. 6.8 billion naira. Which means that we will save over 1.2 trillion naira. Or maybe even 1.3 trillion naira that they are planning to use to import processed oil, because they are trying to use 2.1 trillion naira that they're borrowing from Afrexim Bank, again, a bank controlled by Arabs. Africans, it is time to wake up. I did that research. I'll come up with that and we'll talk about that later. But I'm just giving you an insight. These are things that we need to really understand. These are things that we must understand. So this is now you can understand they're buying by fixing. They are fixing the rate of our currency that they control. The CFA is controlling half of the African economies, over half of it. In the sub-Saharan Africa, 14. And then the US dollar is controlling the others. And in between, they are working towards one agenda: to get African resources at dirt cheap prices. In the Congo, everywhere. That is their strategy. We need to pull away from that as Africans right now. We must. You can see the perfect example. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Season Y. 1 second, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, I would really like also to really think about this as Africans. The French CFA and the US dollars are mechanisms used to ensure that we never get the true value for our resources. We need to pull away from those systems as Africans. We must pull away from them as Africans. They can use it to run their own economy, but they mustn't use it to determine the future of the coming generations. Enough is enough. Africans, it's time to work together. Africans arise, Africans arise. I hope what I've shown you now has made sense. A perfect example. These 4 refineries will more than be able to produce the processed oil, which our people can benefit at a cheaper price. The longer we continue to import processed oil and not fix our refineries, we are wedding ourselves and we are impoverishing our own people for the benefit of those who are the colonizers. And all the agenda is about continued colonization of Africa. Mark my words. You heard him say it. Let me say it one more time. I want you to listen to him.
And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so
that is it. So what can we do about it? The solution for us as Africans is not to wait around. We need an African wide summit right now to pull Africa out of the CFA and the use of US dollars anywhere on Africa. Because from what the man said and from what you can see, you can see a direct link between what the man said, Howard Nicolas, and the price of our crude oil unprocessed. Look at the price. It's more than 70, 80, 90% of the value of what they are charging for processing the oil. We can process it ourselves. Remember, we have these 4 refineries. This is Nigeria. Sticking to this US currency is impoverishing our people. Just like the CFA is impoverishing the French. We need to pull away from the CFA and the US dollars with immediate effect. It is all economic system designed to impoverish Africans and African continents as a whole. Citizens of Africa, it's time to unite. We must dismantle the colonial construction used to oppress Africans on African soil. What they do in Europe is up to them in terms of how they want to exist. But for Africans, on African soil, 30% of the world's reserves, mineral reserves in Africa. It is time that we begin to exercise our collective strength, hold and banish those oppressing us away from our continent. This has gone on for over 500 years, long enough. Enough is enough. So you can see now, there's a direct link about what is said. They want African resources at dirt cheap prices. Crude oil is at 667 million naira. But when you're importing it back, you're paying what? $11.3 billion. $667 million to $11.3 billion. Can you see the massive, this is a massive injustice. It even goes beyond words. Many of us are not assessing this. We should stop using dollars in Nigeria right now. We should stop. But not only in Nigeria, the whole of Africa. There needs to be an urgent meeting among African countries right now and pull away from those financial systems. They are colonial systems designed to enslave Africans. That much is certain. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts on this? You are watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth about. I'm giving this to you because I need you to really understand that we need to work together on this. This is not just about Nigeria. Nigeria alone cannot pull away. We need to work together collectively to pull out of these financial systems. The CFA and the US dollars, they are used as mechanisms to impoverish Africans. That is a fact. Let me know your thoughts. You are, of course, watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. The song is asking you, how long are we going to suffer? How long? It's time to wake up. Africans, arise. Africans, arise. Africans, arise. It is time to rise. We must reclaim our true place. They have impoverished us long enough. We mustn't continue to use their systems that they know full well is designed to impoverish us. You heard the man say it. The financial mechanisms are designed to enslave and impoverish Africans. That is what it's there for. It's time to wake up, Africans. Leave your thoughts and comments. Let's hear from you. You are, of course, watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Go ahead. Please don't forget, before you go, I'd like you to do something for me. Subscribe to Citizen AY. So let me show you again. Subscribe to Citizen AY. Hit the red button. And of course, hit the notification button. Give us a thumbs up. Help us reach more people. We appreciate your support. And of course, keep it locked on. Citizen AY. Citizen AY. Bye for now.